Why the Concorde failed. The death of supersonic passenger jets. Technology always gets better over the years, but once in a while, even the latest and greatest aren't at par with an older technology. Modern passenger jets, for example, fly at less than half the speed of a plane that was developed in the 1960s. But that was a special plane called the Concorde. Until 18 years ago, the Concorde supersonic passenger jet used to regularly fly across the Atlantic at 1,354 miles per hour, more than twice the speed of modern passenger jets. The Concorde was the world's first supersonic passenger plane that could cross the entire Atlantic Ocean in 3.5 hours. But in 2003, the Concorde flew its last ever flight, and passenger aircrafts haven't flown supersonic since. So where did it all go wrong? Why did the supersonic planes fail to become the technological revolution that was promised? Let's find out in this Lightbulb Moment episode. The idea for a plane as fast as the Concorde was developed during the Cold War, when Britain and France wanted to transport their soldiers more effectively. But because neither of the countries had the individual resources to develop a passenger jet that's advanced, they decided to join forces to start constructing the Concorde. In total, 20 aircraft were built, including prototypes and early developmental models. Because it was only France and Britain that were involved in the developmental process of the Concorde, Air France and British Airways were the only airlines that could purchase and operate the fully finished models. But the speed came at a cost. Flying at supersonic speeds gets very hot. The Concorde plane was made out of a special aluminium alloy, with titanium and stainless steel in areas of high stress and temperature. It was designed to withstand significantly higher temperatures than most other planes of its time. This allowed it to make room for thermal expansion when it flew at supersonic speeds, something that no other aircraft had been able to do back then. The heat problem had to be managed in many other ways too. Even the brakes on the Concorde were specially designed to withstand high temperatures without giving in. The wheels had multiple rotors, each of them cooled down constantly by electric fans. This jet was the very first of its kind to use fully digital, computer-controlled air intakes for the engines to slow down the amount of air rushing into them, which prevented them from exploding while flying at supersonic speeds. To put things into perspective, the fastest jet today only reaches a speed of Mach 0.86, which is roughly 1,000 kilometers per hour, compared to the Mach 2.29, the top speed of the Concorde. To allow it to fly that fast, the Concorde's wings were slender and slightly curved to provide greater balance and stability. These wings were called delta wings due to their triangular shape, but they came with a catch. These special wings meant that the Concorde required a very steep angle of attack during takeoff and landing. This made it harder for pilots to see the runway, which is why the designers constructed a long, adjustable nose for the plane called a droop snout that allowed the pilots better visibility by tilting the nose 13 degrees so they could see the runway. All of these features of the Concorde were designed with a single goal in mind: speed. People were literally able to cut travel times in half. The plane's first supersonic flight took place in 1969, and by January of 1976, British Airways had started their commercial Concorde flights, flying from London to Bahrain, while Air France was flying their Concorde from Paris to Rio de Janeiro. The Concorde was a plane for the wealthiest of the wealthy. Traveling in the world's first and most successful supersonic jet wasn't cheap. Tickets could set you back over $10,000, more than the cost of a first-class ticket for an experience which was not so different from an economy-class flight. However, soon enough, people started to realize that this mighty plane definitely came with its fair share of problems, some of which were too complicated to resolve. First of all, the plane's supersonic speed resulted in a lot of sonic booms, a thunder-like noise that's produced when a vehicle moves faster than the speed of sound. This resulted in a lot of broken windows in homes that the plane flew over, and a lot of noise. The only way to avoid this sonic boom was for the plane to fly over the ocean, so that the surrounding areas wouldn't be disturbed. This obviously restricted the supersonic jet a lot in terms of the destinations that it could travel to. Not just that, but there were a lot of environmental concerns, with the jet being a potential threat to the ozone layer because of the altitude at which it flew, along with its high fuel consumption for just 120 passengers, which was the maximum strength of people that the plane could hold. The plane consumed 18,000 liters of fuel every hour for this small number of passengers, while the Boeing 747 that we have today holds 14,000 liters per hour for 500 people. So you see the difference. But none of these factors were enough to stop the Concorde's operations. But it all changed after an Air France Concorde flight had an unfortunate accident in 2000, when some debris blew a tire and punctured one of the fuel tanks in the plane. The fire and engine failure caused it to crash into a nearby hotel, killing over 100 people, including everyone on the flight. After the horrific incident, the airlines had to spend $71 million trying to upgrade the plane's security systems. But sales were already declining, and maintenance costs were rising. And so eventually, both British Airways and Air France made the decision to retire their fleets of Concorde planes. The iconic Concorde jet made its final flight from New York City to London's Heathrow Airport in October 2003, as hundreds of people gathered to hear the sonic boom of this magnificent plane one last time. So, what does the future of supersonic jets hold? Well, it seems like we can stop mourning the tragic loss of the Concorde soon, because United Airlines has announced plans to buy 15 new supersonic airliners and return supersonic speeds to aviation in the year 2029. The new Overture aircraft will be produced by a Denver-based company called Boom, which has yet to flight test a supersonic jet. Virgin Galactic has also revealed plans to incorporate supersonic technology for its suborbital flights to the edge of the Earth, showing just how far we have come since the Concorde made headlines all over the world. For 27 glorious years, the Concorde jet stood as a symbol of technology, wealth, the future, and it continues to inspire the aviation industry even to this day. If you like this video and want to see more, make sure to subscribe to our channel and give us a big thumbs up. See you in the next one.